This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, here on April the 11th, 2022. And folks, my guest informs me she does not have any pictures of James Balsamo anywhere in her apartment because she's got class.
Maybe I'm the only woman in North America without a picture of him in their bedroom. I don't know.
Folks, she's been a guest 3 times prior. I'm happy to have her back again. She is the director of Attack of the Killer Chickens. She was in Herchel Gordon Lewis's last movie. Folks, I give you the very lovely Genoveva Rossi. How are you doing, Genoveva?
Very, very good. And I have some news for Attack of the Killer Chickens. We're actually going to be having our cast and crew premiere in May, and it's all set for release. We finished, the whole shooting, editing, and everything else. We're going to premiere it, so the cast and crew finally gets to see it. And then we're going to, be going to conventions, submitting to film festivals, all that fun stuff. Yep.
You don't have James in it playing a chicken?
No, I don't think we were able to work it out with him being in LA, unfortunately,
Oh, he'd be a good chicken.
He would be a good chicken, wouldn't he? Yeah, he would be. Maybe if we have a sequel, we'll give him a sizable part of the sequel,
He could be
I think we were planning on having him, but I think we ended up with some scheduling issues or something like that with him coming out to this area or something like that. We did end up with Lloyd Kaufman, one of James's favorite people. He has a cameo in the film. We also have David Naughton, John Dugan, Brendan Fletcher, Artie Pasquale from Sopranos, a whole bunch of people. And then myself, my friend Edward X. Young, who I've worked with on over 22 films, David Stein, who was the Lich.
Yep.
Yeah, the Lich himself is in it. His wife, who else? A lot of really cool people. Rocco George was our puppet maker and one of our actors. It was an amazing thing. So I'm the writer, I'm the director, and I'm one of the stars, but it's really like an ensemble cast. And it was really like a lot of teamwork because Dave and I worked really, really closely together, and we formed Cluck Cluck Productions, our production company now. And then, Rocco George, the puppeteer and actor, we work very closely on the puppets and fulfilling like my vision of the film. And, Rocco coincidentally used to raise chickens when he was a child. So he was very knowledgeable of chickens and a puppeteer. So that was a really interesting thing. And just like, it was interesting how all of everything just kind of lined up. Like it was some kind of chicken destiny that we would make this movie. It's a dawn of a new age, a chicken age, Attack of the Killer Chickens. And it was based on a short film, but now it's a feature, and the feature is going to have a lot more cock than the short did.
So all you have to do with James Balsamo could be a chicken. All you'd have to do is shove your hand up his ass and work his head as a puppet.
Well, and I'm sure he would enjoy being tarred and feathered.
So when are we going to see the crossover? I mean, we've had Freddy versus Jason, Frankenstein versus Dracula, all those. When are we going to see the Killer Chickens versus the Killer Tomatoes?
Oh, that would be interesting. I thought you were going to say Poultrygeist versus the Killer Chickens, because some people had said that would be an interesting crossover. There's a lot of potential for crossover, Attack of the Killer Chickens versus Predator. That'd be funny. Oh my God. Attack of the Killer Chickens versus Howard the Duck. I don't know.
How about Killer Chickens versus the Swedish Chef from the Muppets?
That would be funny. Yeah, you could do like a lot of really zany things with it. I love the Muppets. So what influenced me a little bit was the Muppets and Jim Henson when we were creating the puppets and things like that. We did find some inspiration and did pay homage to Jim Henson a little bit, because Rocco and I are big Jim Henson fans. Although he's been dead for a very long time, but his legacy just always lives on. Like when I was out in LA, I walked by Jim Henson Productions I knew a guy years ago when I was in college who used to work, I think putting like the fur on the puppets or something. He like used to work at like Jim Henson Productions, was like his internship or something. And he would like put a little fur on the puppets and everything. That was his job. And and it's still around. His legacy is still around. So, the Muppet Show, the Sesame Street, that stuff is iconic. And I just actually ran into somebody that had made the puppets for Jim Henson at an event, and he said Fraggle Rock's coming back, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you remember that, down Fraggle Rock, with those like little like green guys and whatever. But yeah, so they're supposed to be bringing that back, and so that should be pretty interesting. But yeah, Attack of the Killer Chickens, we definitely pay homage to that. I think one of our chicken puppets looks a little bit like Gonzo's girlfriend. Camilla, the chicken. And I think when they're wearing their little outfits in the movie, they look a little bit like Pigs in Space. Which I love Pigs in Space, if you remember Pigs in Space. That was really good. But yeah, so we enjoy that. And then we're obviously paying homage to Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and all these ultra nutty super B-rated movies from the past.
I've interviewed the screenwriter of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Well, that's an amazing movie because it's so simple, but it's also genius. Like, I love it. Like, they have this big giant tomato that's obviously like a shopping cart being pushed at someone across the park. It's so bad, it's good. And I actually watched a video recently, and they were saying that people that are really intelligent, believe it or not, like to watch really terrible movies, because you actually intelligent people just get off on these films that break all the rules of Hollywood and are just so insane, like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, like Attack of the Killer Chickens, like The Room, like The Room is a great movie, or like Rocky Horror Picture Show.
My first guest was Tommy Wiseau.
Oh, wow. I would go see that live with him one time a couple years ago, I think in 2019, throwing the spoons and everything. That's a fun movie. And it's interesting that it has such a nice cult following. It's not like a horror movie, because so often it's the horror movies that get that kind of following.
Yeah.
This is like a romantic kind of movie. But good for him. He seems like a cool, interesting guy. That must have been interesting to get him as a guest. Wow. What year was that?
That was 2015. That was my very first interview. A former colleague of mine had that interview, and he didn't have any way of filming it or recording it. So I said, let's do it on the show.
Awesome.
And cool guy. Well, here's the thing. It was like after that, it was like, wonder, can I do this again? And I'm still doing it.
Oh, so, there you go. Have you ever had him on a second time, or just that one time?
I've tried. He's a hard guy to get, but I'd love to get more people from that movie.
Oh, yeah, because it does seem like he just has gotten so busy doing these screenings all around the world and everything like that. And the popularity of the book and the movie Disaster Artist, which I saw and everything. I could see how he would be a busy guy. And speaking of busy, I just had, I think it was last weekend, I shot 2 films in one weekend. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to talk a little bit about them. One was called The Bloody Nun. And that was a pretty cool movie. I get to play a police detective in that. Mm-hmm. Which I think was my first time playing a police officer, if I'm not mistaken.
What, you don't play a police officer in Attack of the Killer Chickens? That'd be something to investigate.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, I don't think I played a police officer in anything other than this movie. So that was kind of cool to be a detective and like interrogating someone and doing all these kind of police things. That was really awesome. So that was The Bloody Nun. So I'm super excited about that one. They already wrapped shooting on that one. I think it should be out in probably a few months. And then I'm also working on a film called The Secret Society of the Slow Romance 2. So that's your sequel. It's a romantic comedy, and I play a filmmaker historian in it. That's like kind of loosely based on me. So a little bit different. I'm going to be one of the leads in that, and it's a romantic comedy.
I thought everything you did was a romantic comedy.
Well, you know what? Life is a romantic comedy, isn't it? Right?
Did you have? I need to ask. Did you have your espresso today?
This morning I sure did. Yeah, I always start the day with a nice espresso or a cappuccino or a macchiato or something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now you're all alert and you're all ready and you had all that in you because you're at
Yeah,
the
and now I'm working on my green tea right
yeah,
here. 50
yeah,
green tea.
with a little bit of bougar in it.
No, no Bugar, no Bugar.
No bougar.
I do have a little rubber Bugar somewhere in my apartment that James gave me. He's very good at his merchandising for his films. You know, all those like wacky little characters that he has. Very cute.
I should get some, I've been in 9 of his movies, you
Oh
know.
yeah, like get like a little Bugar, maybe have him sign it. You know, that would be pretty
Yeah.
cool. You know.
He's been wanting to get me a more, but it's just pricey. But
Mhm, mhm.
I enjoyed doing It Wants Blood because Eric Roberts is watching me on a television, which is pretty cool. So
Oh wow, I
I
like Eric.
share I share screen time with Eric Roberts. We've never met.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, well, you know, that's the wonders of filmmaking. You know, we all work on this film together, and we may never even meet each other, even the
Hmm.
people that we have scenes with. You know, it'd be funny if you had a romantic scene with him, like a sex scene, and you didn't even meet him.
I
Or
don't
even
want that. Now Emma Stone, I'll take that.
Emma Stone. Yeah, yeah. Eric
Mm,
Roberts is a fun guy, though. I've been in a couple films that he's in, and he's a very quirky guy, which I like. I like quirky people.
yeah. Well, you
Yeah,
told me your apartment is filled with James merchandise, but you don't have any James pictures. James will be offended.
I know. And I don't think I have his book that he wrote too. Doesn't he have like a joke book? I don't think I have that.
He writes. He can spell.
He can actually read and write, surprisingly. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm just kidding. Of course he can. Yeah, he graduated from college, I'm sure, and all these other things too. He's an educated dude. But yeah, but I think he has a joke book that he wrote, and a bunch of other stuff. He keeps pretty busy. So yeah, 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 yeah. So yep, I got 2 films I just worked on recently. And then I have the impending release of Attack of the Killer Chickens, the movie, which I wrote, directed, and starred in with an ensemble cast. So that's kind of exciting. And my first feature film right after directing my first short film. So a lot of firsts, you know.
Well, what James merchandise do you have in your apartment? You said you have a little Bougar. What else do you have?
Somewhere I have like the little dude from I Spill Your Guts that kills everybody.
Yeah, I'm in the
Um,
sequel for that.
Oh, very good, very good. I'm trying to think what else. And I have some hot sauce somewhere that I think is from I Spill Your Guts. And I think I might have like a t-shirt or two from some of the movies, like The Lich and maybe something else, and maybe Catch of the Day or something like that.
Do you keep Bougar by your bedside?
I think he's downstairs near my tank where I keep my 2 turtles. So you can look at it. Yes, that's
That's when
their little buddy.
that's when the turtles go in their shell.
Yeah, that's their little friend. Their little friend. But yeah, yeah, very cute little merchandise. And remember, he even had like a little Lich figure at one point as well.
Hmm.
A lot of really cool merchandising and stuff. So very cool. And
Cool.
then yeah, I haven't worked with James in a while though because he's in LA now. So
So are we gonna get the killer chickens versus well, if you talk to Terry Taylor, you might be able to get the killer chickens versus the red rooster.
interesting. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I
It's all
still
these
say
different
the killer chickens would win.
maybe so, maybe so. Well, we have to see the movie and then and decide from there. Decide from there. Yeah, yeah. So how's life in Canada these days?
Life in Canada, well, I just started a new job. I work at the hospital cleaning.
Very good.
So
Good.
I'm making some better money, thank goodness, because
Mhm. Mm.
all I was doing was spending a paycheck on my rent and spending a second paycheck on bills plus stooping into my savings. That's no way to live.
No, 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 no. You can't live off your savings. No.
Nope. So I had to get a new job, and it's like my old job is regretting I left, but it's like fucking pay me better, and you know, I went from making $13.50 an hour to making $19 an hour, and if I work nights, I get 20.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a big difference. No one can blame you for that, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what they always say, and I saw this on Instagram. They're like, you know, everybody thinks about you need to be loyal to your company, but if you were to die tomorrow, they would replace you. You know what I'm saying? So you have to live for you. You know, you have to look out your own interest, and if a company isn't giving you what you're worth, you have to look for that. And that's true of anything in life. If someone's not valuing you and seeing your worth in your life, anyone,
Mm-hmm.
you have to seek out people that value you and see your worth. You know, not just your job, but everywhere, really.
I
So,
need to ask because I know you worked on you were part of Herschel's Gordon Lewis's last movie.
mhm.
Talk about your memories working with him.
Well, you know, he was, you know, a very busy guy. He had a very strict attention to detail. He actually seemed like he was being a bit of a perfectionist for this film. Like maybe he knew on a subconscious level that it was going to end up being his final film. You know, he was like, you know, older. You know, he had some things reshot and things redone, which wasn't always typical of Herschel. They said, you know, in his earlier movies, I had heard that a lot of times he went with just the first take and didn't do retakes of a lot of scenes, you know, because he was used to the time period when people shot on film and film was expensive. You know, in this whole digital age, you know, it doesn't really cost that much more money just to do a couple more takes. So for this movie, though, he did do a lot of takes, I would say. He spent a lot of time editing it, and I think he really wanted to be as close to perfect as it could really be. You know, and things like that. He was planning on doing two more movies after Herschel Gordon Lewis's Blood Mania,
Mm-hmm.
but which is, I think, amazing that you could be 85 years old and you still have plans for the future and you're still got things like left to do in life.
Well,
You
look
know,
at Clint Eastwood.
how old is Clint Eastwood?
He's gonna be 92 this year.
Oh wow, and he is a really great director. I love The Midnight Garden of Good and Evil and Gran Torino and all these movies. Very, very good. You know, he's a very interesting guy. Good for him, you know?
Still going.
Yeah, still going, because you never know how much time you have. Some people live to be like 100 and are still living incredibly vital lives, you know? Which is cool. So Herschel was planning on making maybe two more films. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because you know, he had me come out for a small part in Herschel Gordon Lewis's Blood Mania, and I would have been probably a lead in one of his other films. But, you know, when somebody's older, like 85, you don't always know how much time they have. They could have 15 more years or they could not. You don't know. You know, life is kind of unpredictable like that. And things like that. You know, of course, he's very missed by everyone that knew him, though, because, you know, Herschel was kind of an iconic director in the horror scene. You know, his films are seen on the Turner Classic Network, especially around Halloween time. Blood Feast is really like an iconic cult film. That's my favorite Herschel Gordon Lewis film, I think, is Blood Feast.
Oh, I was
And
gonna ask you what your favorite was. Yeah.
yeah, he has a lot of really cool ones like the Go-Go Girls, the Wizard of Bor, and all these other fun ones. So it's actually really cool for me, you know, being a horror fan, to then now be working with all these really cool people. Like I have a quick cameo in Lloyd Kaufman's movie, Shakespeare Shitstorm.
I've already heard of it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a Shakespearean film based on The Tempest,
I
and he
thought you
just
was
had
gonna say it was a Shakespearean film based on a shitstorm.
no The Tempest, yeah, The Tempest. Yeah, close. But yeah, The Tempest. And he did a whole bunch of screenings in New York and New Jersey, actually, this weekend and the last couple weekends.
Mm-hmm.
So seems to be going well and things like that. You know, he's another one of those people that's pretty iconic in the whole B-rated kind of horror genre. You know, Herschel Gordon Lewis. And then it's fun as an actress to have worked with so many cool people like Lloyd Kaufman and Linnea Quigley and Kane Hodder, all these like really cool people that I grew up being familiar with and singing Fangora and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've viewed Bill Weedon, who was in Shakespeare's Shitstorm.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm familiar with him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of cool people were in Shakespeare's Shitstorm, actually. A lot of really cool
Well,
people.
I'm looking here like Julianne Prescott, Debbie
Mhm,
Rochon.
mhm, mhm,
Yep.
mhm.
Um, Let me see. I'm going to click down cast and crew, see, because I know I've interviewed some other people involved with this movie.
Mhm.
I'll take a look down through here because that movie title, you don't forget that. That's popped up in my show here more than once.
So many people are in it. It has like really such an extensive cast. You know.
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't have time to go through all these names, but yeah, it's definitely crossed my threshold on here. Talk about working with Lloyd Kaufman.
Well, I've worked with Lloyd quite a few times, but not in trauma films, but in other sorts of films. Like he was in I Spilled Your Guts.
Mm-hmm.
And also one of my favorite films that I was in, Apocalypse Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
I play kind of a pregnant hippie working at a cafe. I'm 9 months pregnant in that film. And
Mm-hmm.
Lloyd Kaufman actually plays the president of the United States. And then Michael Berryman heads a large corporation.
Mm-hmm.
DC Douglas, who's the voice of Wexler and Resident Evil, is like a serial killer. And Tom Atkins plays like a police officer in that.
Oh, you're in good company.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool film to be in because it really had a great cast. And it's like a sci-fi thriller kind of movie. And everybody was really awesome to work with, a lot of really cool people, for sure, for sure.
Well, we got a couple of movies coming up that we're both part of.
Oh yeah, like what ones?
Well, you play Pitchfork Molly in Z Dead End, and I'm part of that.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Wow. Yeah, I forgot you were part of that. Good for you. Good for you. Congratulations.
I've interviewed Robert Restro, the director,
Mm, good
but
guy.
I was at Frightmare in the Falls last
Hmm.
fall,
Hmm.
and
Oh yeah.
I haven't had either of these people on the show yet. I am going to get them. I was in the lineup to meet Dave Sheridan to get
Oh.
my scary movie deep Blu-ray signed, and he was dressed as Officer Doofy.
Oh, wonderful. Good for him. That's a great character. I was at somebody's house the other day watching that movie. It just came up on TV randomly, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm in a movie with that guy. Turns out I'm in two movies with him. Mr. Blue Shirt, The Inspiration, he's also in with me and Robert Mukes, Jan Birch, Bill
Mm-hmm.
Oberst Jr. Whole bunch of us are all in this Mr. Blue Shirt movie, which isn't really a horror movie. It's like a fantasy kind of movie, fantasy sci-fi.
Like Free Guy,
What's Free Guy?
that guy, the one there, Brian Reynolds.
Well, I never saw it, so I can't compare it. I don't know.
Uh well, I got up to meet him,
Mhm.
and I said to him, I told him I was gonna be part of. I'm not in it, but I'm gonna be. I'm an associate producer on The Dead End. He looks
Mhm.
at me and he goes, "You're my boss." And he looks at the table next to him, which I was going to get in line for, but the person he
Mhm.
looks at was busy the entire weekend. Good thing I have VIP, and that's Felissa Rose. And he
Mhm.
says to Felissa, he says, "Hey, this is our boss." And Felissa's like, "Hi."
Oh, she's cute. She's cute. Oh, she's
Felissa
lively.
is
Lively.
awesome to meet because she gave everybody a big hug, and she even did a shout out for my brother who was looking after my parents at the time, and Felissa was just wonderful. I showed her my Doubtfire challenge that Sandy Johnson did because Sandy nominated her for that, And she said she definitely accepts, So yeah. So I met Felissa, and I'm going to have her on here whenever she's got a moment. She seems to be constantly in one of these independent movies.
Yeah, she's busy, for sure, for sure. She's very lively. She's a fun person. We were in Death House together. I think that's the only movie she and I are in together that I know of. So far, because she's going to be in Dead End too.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So soon we'll be in that together too.
She's also part of It Wants Blood, which I'm part of as well. So
oh, good.
Yeah,
small world.
Yeah, we're part of a few movies, and what we just met then. And the other film that you're part of coming up is The Witches in the Sand.
Oh yeah, that's a cool movie. Yeah. I look forward to seeing that when that's released too. A lot of really cool people on that.
My story behind that, I'm the first one to have Lynn Lowry in a podcast interview.
Oh wow.
And I met her at Horrorama 2018. And she gave me her number right there at the event, which has never happened before. But I never called.
Huh? Maybe she thought you were cute.
Well, I think she's definitely cute. She still looks great.
Oh, yeah, she's a pretty lady.
But she agreed to come on my show, and that was 2018. But I just got her on last year. We were able to get it worked out. And I saw a post on Facebook about the Witches of the Sand. And I just kind of clicked on it, looked at the Indiegogo. And I was like, oh my goodness, look at the people in this movie. So many people that I've interviewed that are in that movie.
Oh yeah.
And that was how I got connected with Tony Martin, who I had on the show. Deborah Lamb. Deborah Lamb not only did the show, but she did a Doubtfire Face challenge right at the end of it, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, she's fun. She's been in some James new movies, I think, too, right? Wasn't she in The Lich?
She could have been.
I think she is. If I'm not mistaken, I think Deborah Lamb and I were in a movie together that was a James movie, and I think it was The Lich, if I'm not mistaken.
I know she's in Beverly Hills Vamp.
Oh, very good. That's a fun title.
Yeah, but she's a really cool person. I was happy to have her on the show, and there's so many other people involved with that movie. Barbara McNaughey come on my show as a result of us connecting through being part of that movie, and she's like my fourth from Suspiria, which is cool to have on the show. Yeah. So Witches in the Sand, it looks interesting. It looks cool. What I like about Tony Martin is when I interviewed him, I said, I want to get involved with your movie. I'm looking at the perks, but I don't know whether I want to buy the Blu-ray or get my picture in the film. He said, buy the Blu-ray and we'll put your picture in the film.
Oh, there you go. That's smart. Yeah, that's smart.
I'm like, you know what? How cool? Because it would have cost me more to have my picture in it. I was like, wow, this guy's very selfless. I'm like, yeah, I'll support your movie. So
that's nice.
It tells me a lot about him. So did you do your stuff with that movie yet?
Yeah, I shot that actually a while ago. I think probably when we were locked down. I shot it remotely during when we were locked down and things were pretty looking pretty grim. So it was nice to have the escapism of filming a couple movies remotely. I had filmed that one remotely. And then I had also worked on another one called Central Authority that had been filmed remotely as well around that time. And I actually did a couple documentaries as well that are going to be released in a while remotely. I think I did about 3 documentaries remotely as well. One was about
Bugar?
No, it was about I think COVID-19 and how it was affecting the independent film scene. Another one was about the independent horror films that my friend Carlos did. And then there was a third one, and I can't remember what the focus of that one was, but it was probably about like indie filmmaking and things like that. But yeah, so that was kind of interesting. It's nice to keep yourself occupied when things are a little crazy, keep your mind active, keep yourself creative.
I worked
know.
all through the pandemic because when you're a
Mm.
cleaner, you're constantly working.
Oh, well, and then being a cleaner is even more important when there's a pandemic than normally, for sure, right?
Yeah, except now I got a job that actually pays me so I can live.
Well, and I think that, in my opinion, all jobs should, in my opinion, like, whether you're a cleaner or you work at a restaurant or anything like that,
Yeah.
everybody's job has a lot of value if you think about the big picture. So everybody should
Yep.
be getting a livable, wage for sure.
Yep. I
For sure.
agree. I
Mhm.
agree. But boy, are cleaners ever underappreciated at a lot of these jobs. You'd never
Well,
believe
and that should be something that we learned from this whole experience. Is I think one thing that was a real eye opener, should have been an eye opener, is that whether you're a cleaner or you work at the grocery store or a restaurant, everybody's job is extremely important and vital. Truck drivers, everybody. Like, where would we be without all these people, especially when we're facing such hard times? So we should put a higher value on their jobs and what they provide for society, for sure.
So what was it like shooting during the pandemic?
Well, it was in my apartment, so it wasn't too bad. And then we also shot some scenes for Attack of the Killer Chickens, kind of when things were getting a little bit better, so we could wrap that up. And then now things seem a little bit closer to normal, so the shoots seem pretty close to normal at this time.
So how close do you have Killer Chickens ready for release?
It's going to be released in May.
Is it gonna go to theaters?
Oh, I don't know what we're going to end up doing. I think right now we may self-distribute for a little while, maybe go to some film festivals and things like that, and kind of just get it out there a little bit, and then kind of figure things out from there, depending on what kind of how it's received and stuff. But our first thing we're doing in May is we're going to have on May 14th, we're going to have at the Hawthorne Movie Theater in New Jersey at 7 p.m. We're going to be having a premiere where, we're going to have a big theater and people are going to come out and everybody's going to watch it for the first time for a lot of us. And that should be pretty exciting, red carpet, pictures taken, and all that kind of stuff. And then after that, we're probably going to do conventions and film festivals and things like that with it. And then see where we want to go with that. Dave is our executive producer. It's the first film from Cluck Cluck Productions. So you want to figure out exactly what we want to do that's worthy of our chickens.
You still get to do the convention scene often?
Yeah, but that has been a little slower, I guess, with the pandemic. But I did a couple events recently. Evil Expo, I was a guest at a couple of those. Stuff like that. I haven't really been applying to that many conventions, but I do have one coming up actually in August that I'm going to be doing. I think actually, I think up in like the Buffalo area.
You go do a convention with buffaloes?
No, in the Buffalo area, New York State. Yeah. To be for buffaloes that like horror movies. They're going to be there, and they don't have a lot of money, but they have a lot of appreciation. The buffaloes. So, but yeah, so we're going to be doing that one, and that should be pretty interesting. So I have a couple of conventions booked here and there. I don't really like doing conventions that much in the summer. Really, right now I'm kind of booking myself up with a lot of film shoots. And when I'm not shooting films, I'll probably be at the beach or relaxing somewhere, so like that. So I it's hard for me in the summer to be at a convention for 3 days, when I could be at the beach or something like that. So I'm just gonna be focusing on shooting and going to the
What
beach.
you want to go to the beach for?
I don't know.
You take
Who knows?
Bougar to the beach?
No, no, no. I think he would melt in the sun, probably. He would probably melt. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that little character that he did where it was like the little back guy that had the Hawaiian shirt on.
Yep.
What was that from Bite School? That was a little cute little dude. I forgot his name now. He looks like James's like son, like little furry, like that son, you know? Especially with the Hawaiian shirt, because I always picture James wearing a Hawaiian shirt, you know.
So those conventions, what's your favorite convention story?
Oh, that's a good question. I enjoy doing conventions. Like I've been a guest at the Chiller Theater Horror Convention a bunch of times. That's a great convention. I've been at Monster Mania. I've been at Scaricon. Um, I've been at Monsters and Robots and a whole bunch of these different conventions. It's always just a lot of fun being there with all the other horror guests and partying with everybody, hanging out with Camille Keaton, which is a great sweetheart. I remember at Scaricon, it was me, Camille Keaton, and Linnea Quigley. We were all on a Scream Queen panel together. So that was like a lot of fun hanging out with them and doing the Scream Queen panel. And then I remember we had done a screening of Death House that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a lot of fun to be together with everybody in the movie theater and watching it together for the first time. So that's a pretty cool convention thing. I always have a lot of fun at Chiller as well. It's always nice, hanging out with Tony Todd, hanging out with Kane Hodder, seeing Tony Moran, all these great guys and gals,
What do you think of Tony Moran's controversy?
I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of it.
Oh, okay. He apparently, like it doesn't really affect me any, but I don't know whether he was drunk or whatever, but he went on, there's several videos of him trash talking fans during panels and this and that, and you'll have to look it up to get the details on it, but.
Oh yeah, I don't know really anything about that. I popped by the PA HorrorCon to just have dinner with a couple of my friends that were visiting, and I saw Tony and he gave me a big hug, and I gave him a big hug, and we were talking about how we're living our lives the best that we can in spite of everything we're doing. Going to conventions, being a guest, doing movies, and just living our best lives. And that's about all I said to Tony. But I'm not a big one for keeping track of like tabloidy and gossipy things personally. I usually just kind of
I just kind of know about it through what's been. I saw the clips on line, but I also, like I've interviewed Sean Clark a couple times, and it's affected him, and yeah, and yeah.
It's not. I have no comment on it because it's not something that I know anything about.
Yeah.
So.
Now, Linnea, I met, and I actually had her on my show on my birthday. Yes, I made her sing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's cute. Well, that's a nice birthday present. Very nice. Very nice.
And yeah, and I've never had Camille Keaton on. I'd love to get her on here, but I've never had her on here yet.
Well, some people have asked me to request her for different interview shows, but I don't know. She seems kind of shy. I don't know if she does a lot of them, She's kind of a quiet person.
So I'll ask her quiet questions.
Well, you can always reach out to her and ask her. It's up to her ultimately whether she does it or not. Not everybody does a lot of interviews. Everybody has a different comfort level. I don't know.
I'm going to say, do my show, and Genoveva Rossi will let you be a chicken in the next movie.
Oh, I don't know if she's interested in that. Yeah, I don't know if she's interested in that.
You can cluck on my egg instead of on my grave.
Oh wow, yeah, cluck on my egg. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
But yeah, I don't know. She might be. Not everybody does a lot of interview shows. I'm doing less than I used to. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to hope you like me.
Yeah, there you go. You're special.
I hope so.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Like,
I haven't really been doing that many because you know what, I'm busy with other things. And you know, and if I have to, if I have the choice between shooting a movie or directing or editing or working on different work related things, that takes a higher priority. You know, I don't. There's a
except when you're
limited
talking to me.
hours
Except when you're talking to me, right?
yeah, right. Yeah, I found time for you, dude. I found time. I found time. But yeah, yeah, because otherwise, like I said, it's like there's just only like a certain number of hours a day, and it's hard to fit everything in.
Yeah, I
Um,
hear you. I actually I got called to work at the hospital Sunday, and I
mhm.
had 3 interviews booked that day, and I had to reschedule them
Oh wow, so there you
because,
go. You
well, I'm
understand?
on my 4th week training, and
Mhm.
I don't think it would be good for me to say no. You know, I want them to know I'm reliable. So, and luckily, the people I rescheduled were fine with that.
Well, if it's a work thing, people should understand, or if it's family thing or family
Hmm.
obligation too. Sometimes making money is important, one's family is important, you have to have certain priorities in life,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. Plus, my cat won't get a job.
Oh no. Well, what could Kitty even do? Really.
I wanted to get him to be a service animal, and they just laughed at me.
What kind of cat do you have?
Lazy one.
No, lazy one. I think everybody has a lazy cat. All cats are
Yeah, he's
lazy.
over there asleep there somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. It reminds me, my mom had a friend, he got a cat with his wife and he took it to the vet. He never had a cat before. And he said to the vet, he's like, there's something wrong with my cat. It just sleeps all the time. It doesn't do anything. And the vet was like, that's kind of what cats do. And he had always had dogs, I guess, and he's used to something that was a little more active than a cat. But cats do really sleep a lot, don't they? They really, I don't know how
Yeah.
many a day, but a lot of hours.
Well, mine is awake while I try to sleep. That's when
Oh,
he
yeah,
like.
they are nocturnal. They are nocturnal. They're looking for mice, like at that time. Yeah,
My
yeah.
cat likes to jump on my bed, and I'll feel the vibration when he jumps up there. And he always jumps up from behind.
Mm,
Because if
mm,
I happen to be sleeping on my side, he jumps
oh,
from behind. He'll pause, and it's like he's contemplating. Then he goes over. He jumps over my shins, and he
mm.
pauses, contemplates, and then I can feel him walking up
Oh,
slowly up to my face and gawks in my face.
oh.
And I'm like,
I,
Skittle.
I, you're making
Eh?
me jealous. I don't have a cat right now. Oh.
I'm like, Skittles, your uptime and my uptime are two different things. Here's something interesting. If I'm sleeping on my back
Mhm.
and he jumps up and he comes, he stares in my face, he'll take his paw and tap on my shoulder,
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
which I
mhm.
think is interesting. I'm like, yes, Skittles, I'm alive. I'm just sleeping. You know that thing I have to do so I can go to work so that you can get fed?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, you gotta focus. You gotta focus.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm.
Now,
Yeah.
does it ever bother you or pop up in your Zoom interviews or no, not
Oh
really?
yeah, lots. Jeepers. I've had guests that love it when Skittles
Mm.
pops up.
Oh, that's
But
cute. Yeah, yeah, it's cute.
yeah, when he comes over here, I'll grab him and pick him up. Yeah, I
That's
think he's
cute.
over there
Yeah.
curled up asleep right now. But
Yeah, because
yeah.
I've noticed when I'm on Zoom with people, if people have a cat, a lot of times their cat comes around like their cat's jealous of all the attention they're spending on Zoom and not on them.
Oh,
Uh,
Skittles gets very annoyed when I pick him up and put him on the screen. But it's like,
oh,
Kitty, yes, I'm going to use you for hits, likes, and views. Why? Because you're staying here for free.
there you go. There you go. Oh, and another film I did fairly recently is one called Pumpkin Seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually did a few movies. I called Pumpkin Seeds, and I actually play a wacky neighbor in the 1970s. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it takes place in the 1970s. I'm like this wacky neighbor who, drinks, does drugs, and is kind of like man crazy. Very different than me, except for maybe the man crazy part. No, no, because I don't drink or do drugs, that's for sure. So that was kind of an interesting character. And then I also did something else where I'm actually in a werewolf series. This is very interesting. You find it on my IMDb. It's a werewolf series, a she-wolf, I should say, where I play a victim. And the director is very interested in doing these werewolf films where it's like a female she-wolf and she's maybe muscular and she's tough and she's attacking like another woman kind of thing. It's like maybe a little erotic, but not sexual with these she-wolves. I guess she-wolves are sexy. In fact, I'm actually wearing a werewolf shirt right now. It's called Werewolf USA. It's like an exercise equipment that's like werewolf exercise outfit that's werewolf themed that I'm wearing right now for fun. But yeah, so I did a werewolf film that was in the Bronx, and then Pumpkin Scenes we did in New Jersey, and then we did Attack of the Killer Chickens. We did Central Authority recently, Witches of the Sands, which is a UK based film, a couple documentaries, and like I said recently, The Bloody Nun, which I was pretty excited to play a detective in, and then The Secret Society for a Slow Romance Part 2 that I'll be in coming up. So keeping myself pretty occupied, and I think a whole bunch of other films coming up. And then, like I said, the release of Attack of the Killer Chickens, the movie, is going to be in May. So, mostly keeping pretty busy,
Talk about Tony Martin of Witches of the Sand as a director, because I know that was something you did on camera at your apartment, right?
Exactly right. Exactly right. It was kind of like at the height of the pandemic. We did that on camera.
Did he direct you that way?
A little bit. He mostly sent me kind of sides telling me what he wanted, and I filmed some of it on my own and did a few different takes and sent it back to him.
How long's your footage?
Not that long, just like a few minutes.
Yeah. Are you one of the witches in the sand?
I don't believe so. No.
Well, you're at the beach. Come on.
Well, you have to talk to Tony about that then. Yeah.
I mean, that could have gave you an excuse to go to the beach. You could be in the sand.
I don't know if we filmed it during beach weather or not. I don't remember. I'm trying to think. I don't know if it was during well, you can look at my IMDb and it tells you, what role I had in it, and I don't think I was a witch, no.
Well, in the wintertime, you can always do it in the snow, and you could make snow angels.
Yeah, it could be Witches of the Snow. But then
there you go.
That would change the whole movie.
Well, I got your IMDb up here, so let's look at some of your films you got lined up here. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna click Bloody Nun. You talked about that. I want to see who else is in that. You got me interested.
That looks like it's going to be a pretty cool film, and like I said, it was really cool playing a police detective. That was something a little different for me, I like that.
Julianne Prescott, talk about working with her.
Oh yeah, she's very sweet. That was my first time being on set with her, so that was pretty cool. Yeah. And then right after that, we both got mentioned in the New York Times for being in Shakespeare Shitstorms. That was cool.
Slumber Party Slaughter Party 2. I think I interviewed somebody from that. Yes, I know. Brink Stevens, Debbie Rochon, and Lynn Lowry. Rebecca Reinhardt, I interviewed her.
Oh, very good. Small world, right? Everybody knows each other in the horror genre.
Oh, Angel Bradford, I had her on back in January.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've interviewed quite a few people from this film.
Awesome.
There you go. So talk about your role in that.
That's something I haven't shot quite yet, so I don't want to give it away, and I don't know if the director wants me to talk about it yet.
Okay, that's all right.
Another one is that I was a zombie in Army of the Dead. They got a theatrical release a while back.
Yeah, you know what? We didn't get that at our theater.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, that was Army of the Dead with Zack Schneider's film. And that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. It was an interesting experience being a zombie in like a $70 million movie, for Netflix and stuff. That was cool.
So talk about being directed by Zack Snyder.
He seemed like a super nice guy. They were very long days though. I was on set some days 1 a.m., 2 a.m. We went into makeup, wardrobe, hair. Took so many hours to get us all ready in our zombiness. And like I was wearing like a half shirt and ripped up pants a couple of days. I was an alpha zombie. And they had to like airbrush like pretty much my whole body around like the shirt and the jeans and everything, to make sure every piece of skin that was exposed was zombified. And then like putting all this crap in my hair to make it look like all like matted and whatever, and then making me look dead, but still like somewhat attractive looking, I would say. Just like the right amount of being dead and whatever. And that was for my alpha scenes. So that was pretty cool. And it was pretty intense. It was like a 15, 17-hour day being on the set of Army of the Dead with all the makeup and everything involved. And then the actual acting in the scenes. Very involved. And then washing up at the end. We would go in the trailer and take a shower and clean yourself up. It would take a long time to get all that zombie gook off. Gook.
Wow.
Zombie gook all over me. That's the hardest part, I think, when being in a horror movie is taking a shower at the end of the day and trying to get all that fake blood off of you. It reminds me of Macbeth, like Out Damn Spot, because it's like you take this 2-hour shower, you get out, and it's always like a little spot you miss, like in your ear or something that still has some gook, like some red gook. And it can be really hard. Or you go to the gym the next day and you're like, oh man, I still have like some blood stained on my arm. It's usually easy to get out of your clothes, but your skin really absorbs the fake blood, into your pores. And it can be really hard to really scrub it all out. Really hard to get it all out of you. I also noticed that when I was working on Shakespeare Shitstorm, I had some latex and blood and goo on me, and that was very difficult to get off later on. I was like, oh my God. It's challenging sometimes with all the makeup, getting things off. Same thing with Herschel Gordon Lewis's Blood Mania. When I had that fake blood on, oh my God, I think everybody heard me in the shower cursing, trying to get all that blood and latex off afterwards. Very difficult. Very difficult.
Would you say one of those is the most difficult makeup experience you've had?
I would say maybe Herschel Gordon Lewis's Blood Mania might have been the hardest for me to get the latex applications and makeup off. That was very difficult. And I also had these rollers in my hair. They were hard to get out and everything too. It took me a long time to kind of get undone from that.
So how long did it take you in the makeup chair for that every day?
For Herschel? Maybe like an hour or so. So not that bad, but it took a long time to get it all off. It took a lot longer, obviously, with Army of the Dead being a zombie rather than being a human being, because again, like I said, the facial makeup, the body makeup, the wardrobe, the hair, all to look like a zombie can be, kind of tedious. And then they took pictures of us and everything as zombies to make sure that we look good on camera and things like that. And then kind of got us rolling with that. That's the thing with the horror genre is these films are very special effects and makeup driven films, and yeah, so it's like, that can add a certain extra like intensity and a certain extra level to everything. Like when I did sorry about that. Somebody's calling me.
Gotta press pause here. There we are. We had a brief little interruption there because Genoveva is important. And Bougar,
Yes.
what's it Bougar that called you?
No, no, I don't think it was. I don't think it was. But yeah, I guess it's been almost an hour. So is there any final questions that you have?
Almost an hour? I thought we were going to talk for 5 hours.
Oh, 5 hours. I don't know what we
Five
talk about.
hours.
Things would probably get pretty intense if we were going to talk for 5 hours. And I don't know, it'd be almost like be more intense than a therapy session. You could then maybe write my biography when we're done.
You
Right?
know what? It's always nice having you on here, and
No.
I look forward to having you on and really, I mean, it's been nice keeping in touch with you. I'm glad that you're in all these. Actually, I'm glad that we're involved in some movies together.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. It's like, really, the horror film people were like one big like horror family, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. But I'd love to see you at one of these conventions.
Well,
Like,
definitely recommend me to maybe some ones in
you know
Canada.
what? I've done that. It's just a matter of
Okay.
people listening to me.
People need to listen to you, Greg.
Yeah, because you're not the only one who's asked me that. And
Hmm,
it's
hmm.
like, and I pitch these names and it's like I almost feel like I'm being an inconvenience to them. But it's like I managed to get Lisa Langlois booked for Frightmare in
Hmm.
the Falls.
Oh,
But
cool, cool.
yeah,
Hmm.
but I mean, Nancy McLaughlin is somebody who's asked me about it. So is Eileen Dietz from The
Oh, cool.
Exorcist, and yourself. Um, Sandy Johnson's even asked me, although I don't think she has a whole lot of problem getting booked, but
Maybe
but
you need to start your own convention and bring us all out there.
oh gee, I don't know how I would even begin that. And I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't do it here. I find here in New Brunswick the arts are not
Hmm.
as appreciated as they should be, which is
Hmm.
why I love Toronto so much more.
Oh yeah, Toronto is a bit artsier. I've been to Toronto. In
Hmm.
Canada, I've been to Toronto, I've been to Montreal, Vancouver, and Calgary.
But not here. Nobody comes here.
Exactly right. I have no plans to come there.
There you go. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
I'm
But
sorry.
I
Sorry.
did want to ask, did you see X?
Oh, I did see X. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty fun movie. It was like very Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Boogie Nights,
Yep.
Fun. It was
I
fun.
saw it 4 times in the theater.
I thought the ending had a kind of a almost religious message to it, actually.
You
I don't
know
want to
that
give it
there's
away,
a
but it does.
prequel they've already got shot for it.
Oh, very good. Yeah, yeah. The ending reminded me a little bit. I'm not going to give it away for people, but I felt like the ending had a bit of divine intervention, taking place. That I don't think everybody read into it. But me coming from, I guess, a religious background and upbringing, I kind of saw that in the movie,
Hmm.
and I thought it was a very strong movie. I really liked the cast and actors, and I like the late 70s like vibe to
I
it.
did too. And I love Jenna Ortega. I didn't even know who she was until this
Mm,
year. And she's done 3 horror films already before the end of
mm,
March. She was in Scream, the
mm.
Scream. So I'm gonna just fuck it. Scream 5. Screw it,
Now,
studios. It's
which
Scream
one was
5.
she in X? Was she the girlfriend that wanted to do porn that never had?
Yeah.
That's who I thought. Okay, okay.
Yeah. And she was in Studio 666 with the Foo Fighters. And I think she's pretty cool. She's going places.
Well, my favorite was, I guess, the lead one.
Oh, Mia Goth.
Yeah, I thought
I
she was
was
fun.
I couldn't believe she played Pearl as well.
Yeah, yeah, that was, I thought, very interesting to have her playing like the dual roles. And then I don't know, I thought she was kind of an interesting character.
Liked
But
her and Brittany Snow.
yeah,
Yep.
everybody was actually really good in that. Like the boyfriend that was like shooting the porn, like the older
Hmm.
boyfriend, he was kind of a fun character. He's like, there's no such thing as good girls. He's like, yeah. And then the African American gentleman, I forgot his name in the movie, but he was really good too. He seemed like such a nice guy too. Like he was gonna go help the old man find his wife and everything. He seemed
Yep.
like a really sweet person. I felt a little bit bad when things happened to him.
You know
You know,
what? I think it's interesting because the characters all had that different side, and those nice arc to all of them. So I really enjoyed X. I went and saw it 4 times at the theater, and
oh, wow.
I really enjoyed that movie. And
And
yeah,
I
that
thought it was very original too, right? It was a little, it
yeah.
had an original kind of thing to it because it's like you went into it thinking the movie was going to be one thing and it ended up kind of going in a different direction, you know?
Mm-hmm. So
And
yeah,
I thought Pearl was a somewhat sympathetic character, even in all of her madness, you know?
yeah. Oh yeah, there's definitely some sympathetic stuff with them. Yeah,
Mhm.
I could see some of the stuff in there being rated home in a Lloyd Kaufman movie.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. But I guess like the theme of it to a certain degree was that it can be hard getting old and letting go of your youth and your youthful pleasures. I guess that's kind of a little bit of the theme of it to a certain degree. Yeah, so it was a pretty interesting movie and to be tantalized, I guess, by youth and by sex and things like that, even when
Yeah.
you're like super duper old. Well, because when you're a really old person in your mind, you're still this young person always,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm,
Well,
mhm.
anything else you got coming up that you want to plug and promote on here that you can talk about?
Well, my premiere is coming up for Attack of the Killer Chickens, the movie.
Are you got some chickens there?
I know I don't. You're not with me at this point. No. But I think it's May 14th. We're going to be having it at Hawthorne Cinemas, and it's going to be at 7 o'clock. And everybody can follow me, Genoveva Rossi, on my Twitter, my Instagram, or my Facebook, and keep in touch and see what I'm up to.
Do not let Will Smith go to the premiere because he will slap one of those chickens.
Exactly right.
Yeah, we
Exactly right.
can't have that. Well, before I let you go, I'm
Mhm.
going to ask you to do a plug for my show.
Okay.
Okay. Just state your name and say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
This is Genoveva Rossi, and you're listening to Greg Gilbert at Python's Paradise.
Yes, look at that Werewolf USA shirt she's got on. Looks like 2 glasses with eyes on there underneath. Is that what that is?
I don't know. My boobs are covered. Let's see. Oh, it's like little, like big, like werewolf eyes, like with the little yellow in them. So
Uh,
yeah, scary.
I didn't even realize the boob reference, but yeah, that would be true.
Yeah, because sometimes when you have boobs and you have like a picture on your shirt, it can like kind of, like squish it around.
I should have had your photos out here. I didn't even think of it, but I know you sent me a couple signed pictures.
Oh, yeah. You should have them posted all around and look at them all the time. Otherwise, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
nope, I appreciate that. And yeah, yeah. Wish I could convince you to do a Doubtfire challenge though. Are you frozen? Yeah, I think you're frozen.
Okie dokie.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say as before you froze, I say I wish we could have convinced you to do a Doubtfire face challenge.
Oh, I don't think I have any pie or anything like with me right now, but thank you though. Yeah, I don't think I have anything equipped for that right now.
Yeah, you were the people. James nominated Debbie Rashawn as well. I haven't had Debbie Rashawn on here.
You haven't had Debbie Rashawn on now?
No, I haven't. I got to get her on here. I got a lot of people I haven't had on. I got to reach out to.
Yeah, for sure. You should do that.
But I'm glad I had you on for a 4th time, and next year we'll make it number 5. You know,
Oh, okay.
yes,
Uh-huh.
we can talk more about chickens.
Oh yeah, for sure. Sounds good. All right,
You
gonna
take
let you go.
care. It's always
All right,
fun talking to you.
great talking to you too. Take care now. Bye bye.
Bye bye.